From constructing my preliminary task, there has been a range of techniques I have taken and developed which I use for my medical thriller. One of the continuity techniques I have used and developed for my preliminary task is cross-cutting, which was used during the conversation between Dr. Watson and the drug dealer. We also developed other editing techniques such as transitions through adding a range of fade-ins and fade-outs at the beginning and the end of clips, and also included an effective whip pan effect when changing scene from the lab scene to the phone call. We also used a deeper variety of special effects as we used static shocks during the clip when viewing the pills and the spots on Jordan's hand to disorientate the audience. Cinematography such as SOP types were also taken and developed from my preliminary task as we used a range of close-ups when viewing the character's emotion, extreme close-ups, low-angle shots when viewing the drug dealer, and high-angle shots when viewing the victim dead. We also used a range of mid-shots and long shots using the rule of 3. We also used the change in focus when the drug dealer leaves the scene to show him disappearing mysteriously, and during the death of Jordan to show that he is slowly fading away. We also developed camera movements from the preliminary task as we used a range of handheld camera movements, for example, when the antagonist was on the phone or stealing the pills, as well as panning and tilting movements when viewing the antagonist entering and stealing the pills. We developed our use of titles from my preliminary task as we used special effects to fade in and out our names, and also added specially edited production logos at the beginning of the sequence. Like the preliminary task, sounds such as dialogue and soundtracks were used in our thriller. However, we developed our range of dialogue as there are more actors in the thriller communicating. We also developed our use of soundtracks as a wider range of tense thriller sounds were used in the thriller. Unlike the preliminary task, we used sound effects and non-diegetic sounds as a heartbeat, which Jordan is dying, and static fuzzing noises during the production logo and the visions of the pills. The mise-en-scène in the thriller has also been developed from the preliminary task as costumes such as a science lab coat and accessories were used for the scientists and for Dr. Watson. Also, the drug dealer is dressed in rough gang-like clothing, which all makes the sequence even more realistic and professional. We also developed our use of lighting as we used dense low-key lighting in the lab scene and the drug dealer scene to create a dark, tense feel. We also developed our use of props as we used a range of different science equipment in the labs, pills and fake blood, which all made the thriller even more realistic and interesting. The locations were not developed a lot further from the preliminary task as we still used the school for some locations, for example the dark room, but we did use some other locations such as back rows around Ballon. The technical equipment used to construct our thriller has not changed much from what we used for the preliminary task. However, we used a Canon 1100D camera, which is a more advanced camera, to film our sequence, giving us a more developed quality and finish to our thriller than the preliminary task.